in his own words. I wrote it down. I made notes on it. Very straight.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Poor. I'm a senior at the Academy of Eckwood. First of all, I'd just like to address real quick the issue as far as the sports teams not being up to par. I'd just like to say that not one of the major reasons why our sports teams aren't up to par is because parents keep sending them to private schools. They keep hearing, oh, you know, Paramus Catholic is where to go, Bergen Catholic is where to go. You know, of course, you take the biggest players out of our middle school teams, because you see the middle school team is going to states. You take the best players out of there, you send them to private schools, what are we left with? So, right. So what are you left with? And so if our parents or the community would advocate to go to Dwight Morrow, go to the academy, which aren't really bad schools, they're given a reputation, but they're really not that bad. Also, I'd like to say our sports teams, they're really not that bad. We have one of our seniors named K. Vaughn. He's scouted by Miami University, Boston College, Temple. My personal friend is Sean Warren, scouted by Marshall. We have people that scouted from Maryland, Princeton, big schools, all big schools. Miami U and BC, all D1 schools. So you can't tell me that our team isn't good. We have the players there. We just need a whole group of them. So that's just addressing that issue. Now, I'd like to also address the issue with the trip to China. It was a very informative presentation. However, I have a quick question. That trip, who was it paid by? Was it out of his personal account or was it other people's money? Real quick to address the whole uniform situation as well. The uniform situation is it's understandable. However, if you really feel that it's gonna equal out the haves and the have-nots, I don't agree with that, because just simply all you have to do is get a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci coin purse, hang it on your waist. There you go. You just separated the have and the have-nots. So don't tell me that a uniform is going to do that. It's not true. Also, if you knew anything a little bit about sociology, you would understand that whatever the quote-unquote cool or popular kids do, that's what's cool. Because all it takes is having that quote-unquote popular crew sag their pants or do something with their uniform shirt. There you go. Now that's what's cool. And now you separate the popular crowd and the not so popular crowd. And if you think it's gonna help the issue with gangs and all that stuff, all I have to do is wear a blue or a red undershirt. Simple as that. A blue or a red belt. Simple as that. And just one last thing before I go, just food for thought. I'd like to say, if China is so urgent and they're lusting so hard to come over here, why are we trying to imply their policies here? Thank you.
The Chinese government paid for the trip. I don't know if everyone heard that trip was not out of taxpayer funds. That was paid for by the Chinese government. Marshall, huh? You know, as I said at our last meeting, no matter what the topic, when our young people come up and speak and they're articulate, I commend that. Because that's exactly what we're grooming. To come up, be individuals, think on your own, and know how to speak. So I appreciate the comments. Mr. Back.
Mr. Garrison, Ward, John Babb, 213 2nd Street. Mr. Garrison, George, I'm glad you addressed the issue about the news in the paper this week. I'm sure that it's been laying heavy on my mind for the last 2-3 days. And I understand you can't say much about it. I understand the timing of when the approvals were sent, when they were not made, when the statutes were made. But I pray, one thing I'd like you to keep us informed about is where the state stands. I understand you're meeting with the county. I'd like to know, help keep the public informed of what's going on with the state. Now, I understand, when you commit a crime, and I'm saying that was not suggesting that happened, but if you commit a crime, you go to jail first, then you appeal. So I don't know where this stands in terms of our contract submission and appealing with the county and appealing with the state. I don't know what step it is, but I pray to God that this board is given the wisdom to find reconciliation. I pray that the superintendent and the board and the state and the county find a way to resolve this issue. That we find resolution, we find unity, and we find satisfaction that we can move forward. One thing I would not want us to do is have to fall into a situation where, and I'm not suggesting this would happen at this point, but to lose funding from the state. There's no way any tax increase in this county, in this city, could ever make up that shortfall. In addition to that, items and issues being held up in courts, back and forth, where Inglewood would take a step back. I think we are making progress. We're not agreeing on everything that we're doing, but we are making progress in my mind. And I would hate for us to fall back like a period of time in the 80s when we lost a lot of time and we paid a lot of legal fees. So I pray that this board and the superintendent and the state and the county is given the wisdom, the inspiration, so we can find reconciliation. Thank you.
Thank you, John. John, I appreciate those comments. I will say that we will certainly keep the public abreast of how things are going. The good news is that we are communicating